Wow. 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 People are interesting. And I usually say that when I have so many other descriptive verbs that I would rather use. Now, in this video, I would like to talk a little bit about the human opinion and why it's important to not only share your own opinion, but also be able to respect others in the process. Because we live in a world where you are always going to have differing opinions. And it's important to be able to take everyone's with a grain of salt. Now, I don't know about you, but at the end of my life, I want to know that I used my voice in the way that I was proud of, or in a way that I was proud of, and in a way that I can know that I am standing in integrity. So anything I share in this video is my opinion. And the thing is, opinions are kind of like assholes. Everyone has one, and none of them are great. So with that being said, I am going to kind of share a little bit of context because today, for lack of a better word, was interesting. And when I say interesting, like I said, I usually use that in place of so many other words that I would rather be using in that place. So essentially, today, Brittany Griner was released in exchange for the Merchant of Death. And I had posted this. I'll kind of tag it above here so you can see the screenshot. But essentially it says, trading a top Russian arms dealer for a weed-smoking female basketball player is peak Western leftist philosophy. And you can disagree with me, that's fine, and we can agree to disagree. This is my opinion. Now, I'm going to continue on to say, incomprehensibly unethical from any standpoint. They chose to trade the Merchant of Death for a basketball player while knowing a Marine has been held for the last 4 years. What happened to our ethic and moral compass? Now, I did not realize, one, that this was going to trigger so many people, and two, that this also was going to be so supportive for many. This is just my opinion. I firmly believe that a life is a life, and I do not believe that Brittany Griner would be getting the same level of treatment if she did not have her platform in the way that she does. And because of that, whether you're gonna go on to say what someone said in here, which was the opportunity to trade the Marine wasn't on the table. Yeah, the other trade wasn't on the table. It wasn't a one of mine for one of yours deal, but really it was, because we traded the arms dealer for Brittany Griner. So it was a 1-for-1 deal. And you know, a lot of people came on, some people came on and disagreed. And it's interesting the correlation between the individuals who disagreed. However, there are some that are a part of the LGBTQ community that disagreed. And there's many more that actually agreed. You know, I think it's interesting the people that came on to say I'm heavy on the judgment here, and that's fine, because like I said, this is my opinion. Your opinion can differ than mine, and that's okay. However, I think it's crucial that regardless on what our opinion is, that we are able to actually share it and have a conversation around it. It's okay if someone is wrong, but to think that your opinion is greater than thou in that way, it's just somewhat dystopian. It's crass. It lacks empathy. It lacks the ability to connect and actually have a conversation about something that we may disagree on. And maybe there's a way for both of us to find clarity on why that individual actually feels that way. You know, put simply, we're all humans at the end of the day. And what makes us strong is our ability to work together and our ability to problem solve. Yet we're sitting here against each other, arguing and fighting, when at the end of the day, we all bleed red. We are all going to die someday. And that's just the fact of the matter. You know, people, it's It's interesting. I'm just kind of reading some of these comments here, and I'll post them up here so you guys can kind of see them pop around, because this is entertaining for me. I am just sharing my opinion, and some people are really bent over backwards. There's people on here saying that this goes all the way back to World War II. Lastly, the United States of America was founded on the most horrific implementation of bondage and genocide in all human history. There has never, ever been a moral compass with any American institution. My hope is that one day there will be, but right now, things remain as they once were. There is some validity in that, so I do partially agree. Now, although that went far left, I understand the point. Now, for someone saying that the Lord of War or the Merchant of Death is small time merely because Nicolas Cage played him in a movie, I disagree. I think Nicolas Cage played him in a movie because of the status he had previously. I think that's very clearly seen. You can look these things up online, and it's there throughout history. So, regardless, and then they went on to tie this into the Ukraine situation. I don't want this video to get demonetized, so I'm really not going to touch on that too much. I digress. But he also went on to say the ethical compass was flushed down the toilet once World War II began. Let's see. I can really respect a lot of these. A friend of mine went on to say I think the same outrage should be applied to the hundreds of members of Congress that still stand by a man who planned an actual coup against America. I agree with you. This trade was not fair, especially given who we gave up. But do you have outrage over this and not over a political party that is trying to completely undermine the Constitution? Bigger things at play than one person being traded. Yeah, I agree with these things, and I don't want to get too political and into this right now. However, I do agree with a lot of the things that are being said on this. Someone even went on to call me racist, and that's interesting considering I am partially African American. So I went on to say, I'd love to hear your elaboration on your statement so I can better understand your perspective. I'll also add, considering I am African American, that would be extremely paradoxical. But I'm open to hearing your thoughts. I never got a response. I just don't understand why individuals go in and drop these ridiculous comments and not elaborate on them. I get it. It's Darwinism in its finest form, if we're being honest. Now, so many on here, or two people, came on to say and make this about her being an innocent, queer black woman. Her being black and queer had abso-fucking-lutely nothing to do with this. Truly. Her being queer and black had absolutely nothing to do with this. It's saddening that it gets taken that way. I just truly don't understand. With that being said, it's unfortunate that we can't have more respect for one another's opinion. I can understand how some individuals are passionate about this in a certain way. However, I was sharing an opinion to share an opinion. And clearly it ruffled some feathers, and that's okay. But for individuals to take it to a place where it's so disrespectful and they speak in a condescending way and they're not able to carry themselves in a kind and tactful way, it says more about them than it does about me. And with that being said, I appreciate you listening to this video. I know this one is a different type of video than I normally do, but I'm actually going to start doing more things like this and just kind of really sharing more of my opinions and my thoughts. Not always in this realm, but I've started to do the vlogs, which I really enjoy, and I'm just going to start putting out a lot of different things. Now, with that being said, if you have a differing opinion or if you have a congruent opinion with mine, I would love to hear the thought below. With that being said, I appreciate you tuning in. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.